Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 figures in the Mattel Jurassic World line of 2019. 2019 was a great year for the line, despite it being a non-movie year. There were a couple of hiccups along the way, namely the last couple waves of battle damage figures. The distribution's been terrible on those. It's been very hard for collectors to get those last couple of figures. The controversy of the John Hammond figure being a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Thankfully, a good number were made available through Entertainment Earth for the general public to get their hands on them, and the Legacy Collection story packs, which never got released in the US. So with those few issues, there was nothing that even came close to the Legacy Spinosaurus debacle that happened last year, so there's definitely a lot more highs this year collecting the line than lows. We got a lot of species that we haven't seen in the line before, like the Concavinator, Amargasaurus, and Styracosaurus, and we also got updates to figures from when Hasbro had the line, like the Indominus Rex and the massive Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus. And we also got a lot of repaints this year. Love them or hate them, repaints are always a big part of any toy line. Some of the repaints are better than others. Personally, I like the repaint of the Concavinator and the Battle Damaged Monolophosaurus. Those are among my favorite repaints of this year, but we also got our 4th repaint of the Baryonyx and our 8 millionth Raptor repaint. But for every Raptor repaint clogging up the store shelves, we did get some gems like the Attack Pack Mononychus. So now that this quick recap is over, let's move on with my top 5 list. It will include figures from Dino Rivals, the Battle Damage line, and the Legacy Collection. I know Primal Attack is slowly trickling out at retail, but I'm going to keep those separate for next year. So with all that out of the way, let's get on with the list. Number 5, the Attack Pack Moosehoras. The Attack Pack line has given us a lot of great obscure dinosaur species, especially like this year's Mononychus and Solaris, but this little Moosehoras has definitely become my favorite Attack Pack release so far in the entire line. I love the baby-like proportions on this figure. You know, up until very recently, Moosehoras was only known from infant skeletal material, and the coolest part about this figure is that it is pretty much a 1-1 scale of those baby skeletons, which earns some bonus points in my book. And I like this figure so much, it actually became the first repaint I ever did on the channel. This is actually a repaint of the gray version. If you look on the back of the packaging of the Moosehoras, I guess the original prototype was a gray color. So I bought a second one and did this gray repaint, and it became the first repaint I ever did on the channel. Definitely love this little Moosehoras. Number 4, the Battle Damage Albertasaurus. I absolutely love this figure. This figure came out at the beginning of the year, and with all these great releases that we have, this figure still remained high up on my list. I love a lot of things about this figure. It has a beautifully sculpted head, nicely proportioned feet. I mean, it still suffers from the short tail syndrome that a lot of figures in the line do have, but the coolest part about this figure is the 2-stage battle damage. You can just push this little panel right here, and on mine, the ribs kind of like to pop up when I push the panel in, but they lock in right here. You just pop those ribs up and you get this nice, soft, rubbery inside. That just like harkens back to the old Kenner day with that rubber feeling battle damage. Absolutely love this figure. Number 3, the Dual Attack Nasutoceratops. This figure, along with the Allosaurus, caught everyone off guard when it first started popping up on store shelves. The biggest reason was these figures had the Battle at Big Rock logo on their packaging, and up until that point in time, we knew almost nothing of what Battle at Big Rock was going to be other than a short film. There was a lot of speculation over a couple months of when Battle at Big Rock was going to come out. Some people said it was supposed to come out with Hobbs and Shaw, and when it didn't come out, a lot of people were speculating that it was canceled. And thankfully, it was announced that it was going to premiere after Jurassic World on FX. And a lot of people, including myself, were very happy with that short film. And if you've been following this channel for a while now, a lot of you know that I am absolutely in love with Nasutoceratops. It is one of my favorite ceratopsians. And I absolutely do love this Mattel version of this dinosaur. It is a little big in the line, the way the line scales Nasutoceratops. So this figure should probably be about half the size, maybe the size of the Styracosaurus figure. But other than that, it is definitely a cool looking figure. And my favorite part about this figure is once the CGI renders of the Nasutoceratops from Battle of Big Rock came out, that this toy matches perfectly with the male Nasutoceratops. And I kind of like how they gave them different frills for the males and females. And on top of that, like I said, if you've been following this channel, I do absolutely love this figure since I have done a few repaints. This is a repaint based on what it looked like in Battle at Big Rock, and this one is based off some artwork I saw online. I'm actually planning on doing a Battle at Big Rock diorama. I'm currently repainting an Albertasaurus to look more like the film version. I actually got another Pseudoceratops that I'm going to resculpt the frill to make it look more like a female, and I started picking up little miniatures, picked up like a little mini cooler with drinks and everything just to start building my diorama. It's going to take a long time for me to get it finished, but I plan on having like an LED flickering campfire, so hopefully I can finish that sometime probably next year and I can show that off to you guys. Number 2, the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex. People went crazy for this toy when it started shipping from Amazon over the summer, and for good reason. This is a great looking toy. It has a lot of great features on it, and on top of that, it absolutely blows away the version Hasbro gave us a couple years ago. Mattel really went all in with this Indominus Rex. The sculpt on this figure is absolutely beautiful, very movie accurate. I mean, just look at that head sculpt, especially when you compare it to that thing Hasbro gave us a couple years ago, and it came loaded with a bunch of cool play features. You got a button along the back right here that activates its arms slash in action, complete with sound effects. And you got a button along the tail here that opens the mouth to roar with movie accurate sounds. And you can also hold on to the leg and the figure can reach down and swallow other figures, which is a fantastic feature. And my favorite part is when you just shove a figure down its throat, it makes that nice crunching sound. If I had the lights off, the throat would light up red, and you can actually see the silhouette of the figure going down the throat, which is just an amazing feature. There's so much fun you can have with this figure. I like this figure so much, I actually end up doing a repaint of the Indominus Rex. This is loosely based on the rainforest colors from Jurassic World Evolution. And also on top of that, this repaint of the Indominus Rex is my most viewed repaint video on the channel. So thank you everyone for that. And I was really considering this Indominus Rex to be my #1 figure up until I got my hands on another figure. And I think all of you know what that's going to be. And number 1, and this shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people, the Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus. Where to begin with this figure? I know this figure is probably on a lot of people's #1 list. This is just an absolutely massive figure. This is truly a love letter from Mattel to the Jurassic Park fans. This is something that we've wanted for over 23 years, a large Brachiosaurus figure to go with our collection. And man, does this figure live up. Just the proportions on it, the size of it, it just dwarfs everything in the entire line right now. You know, I know a lot of people were skeptical how the release of this figure was going to go. We all know how Target handled the Legacy Spinosaurus, and definitely last month when this figure came out, it was definitely an interesting couple of weeks with the street date being lifted and then put back on, then lifted again and put back on. Kind of drove a few people crazy, but I know pretty much everyone got their hands on this figure. It's popping up online on Target's app, and I've actually seen this figure restocked a few times already at Target. Actually, today I was out just looking for some of the new Primal Attack packs, and all 3 Targets I went to, all of them had 2 Brachiosaurus on the shelf, so that is great that Mattel is supplying Target with enough Brachiosaurus to keep them in stock on shelves. This is truly a gem among the collection. This is just such a fantastic figure. I love everything about this thing. It's just so massive and beautiful, and this is why this is my #1 figure of 2019. And honestly, you know, whenever the line decides to end, I could still see this figure being #1 at the end all those years later. So that's my list of the top 5 figures from the Mattel Jurassic World line of 2019. I'm sure other people's list will differ from mine. This is just my opinion. So I'd love to hear in the comment section what are your top 5 favorite figures of 2019. And if Jurassic World isn't your cup of tea, you know, I do review other dinosaur figures from other companies on this channel. I will be doing a top 10 figures of 2019 on the channel sometime probably near the end of December from the other companies like Papo, Rebor, PNSO, etc. I'm honestly just waiting for the new Papo Spinosaurus to come out. This thing's been delayed a million times. Hopefully it comes out in December. If I get news it's not coming out in December, it's going to come out in January. For whatever reason, I'll do the list when I find that out. So anyways, if you're liking the videos, on this channel, please show your support by subscribing to the channel. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.